Their Empress needed no one. From the moment she hatched beneath the crystal dunes of Sarathea, she was revered as divine, the last living daughter of the luminous queens, her blood infused with starlight, her mind vast enough to command entire planetary fleets in a single thought. The Scifi Empire bowed to her without question, seeing in her a perfect, flawless sovereign untouched by the common weaknesses of flesh and feeling. She could bend entire armies to her will, silence dissent with a single flicker of her mental presence, and command the orbiting ring cities to shift their orbits like toy beads on a string. Emotion was a poison to her, love a pitiful illusion reserved for the weak and dying. She carried no consorts, bore no heirs, and slept alone in the radiant core chamber high above the violet spires of the imperial citadel. Yet beneath the layers of polished crystal armor and the endless councils that stretched across centuries, there lingered a cold echo inside her mind, a hollow so deep that even her brightest suns could not fill it. Then, one crimson dusk, a single human ship crashed into the burning sands outside her palace walls. The Scifi warriors, with blades of charged plasma and mirrored shields, rushed to drag the intruder before her. He was small, trembling, his breath a ragged whistle through bloodied lips. His name was Thomas Reeve, last survivor of an exploratory envoy long forgotten in Scifi archives. His eyes, a shimmering blue like the oceans she had only seen in distant holograms, met hers without fear. He knelt in silence as her counselors jeered and demanded execution. The Empress watched, intrigued by the fragile shape before her. Unlike the others, he did not beg, did not tremble at the weight of her power pressing down like a collapsing star. He merely looked at her, truly looked, as though seeing past the armor, past the endless titles, and straight into the abyss she kept hidden. "What do you see when you look at me?" she asked finally, her voice resonating like 1,000 bells underwater. He coughed, a thin spray of blood staining the polished floor. "I see someone alone," he rasped, each word burning through his failing lungs. The entire hall fell silent. No one had ever dared suggest such a thing. Her ministers quivered, anticipating her wrath. But instead of anger, something unfamiliar twisted in her chest, sharp and terrifying. In the days that followed, she commanded he be kept alive. Each evening, she came to his chamber and demanded he speak to her, describe human worlds she would never visit, rainstorms on open plains, the soft hush of snowfall, the warmth of a shared campfire beneath alien stars. He spoke of small kindnesses, of songs sung not to conquer but to soothe a crying child, of sacrifices made not for power but for love. She listened, motionless, as his voice weakened. Though her empire could shatter moons, her scientists could not mend his human heart in time. Even as her healers offered him mechanical lungs and synthetic blood, he refused, smiling softly. "Why?" she demanded one night, her voice trembling. "Why choose to die when you could live?" He reached out a shaking hand, fingers brushing the edge of her gleaming gauntlet. "Because life isn't measured in endless breaths, but in the moments we choose to give them away," he whispered. That single touch sent a shudder through her entire being, cracks spreading through her ancient mental fortress like lightning splitting obsidian. For the first time in her endless reign, she wept, pale tears of starlight trailing down her cheeks, splashing onto his hand. His breathing faltered, each inhale a battle, each exhale a gift. As the final sunrise painted the dunes in molten gold, she knelt beside him. She lowered her helm, pressed her forehead to his, and in that final breath he offered her, small, warm, mortal, she felt life not as an abstract force but as a heartbeat echoing against her own. When he slipped away, she felt a piece of her own vast spirit unravel and drift into the stars with him. She ordered no grand tomb, no marble statues. Instead, she carried his memory in the chamber of her heart that had never before known warmth. The Scifi Empire trembled as she stepped down from her crystalline throne, descending among her people for the first time without armor, without titles, her face bare and streaked with salt tears. They watched in shocked silence as she planted a single seed in the sands where he died, nurturing it with her own light. From that seed rose a strange, fragile flower, its petals shimmering with all the colors he had described in his final stories. The Empress who needed no one became the Empress who walked among her people, who listened, who held their trembling hands when they cried, who shared in their small joys and whispered lullabies to orphaned hatchlings. She who had ruled beyond the reach of death now carried within her the echo of a human heartbeat, a reminder that true power was not in domination, but in the quiet, ferocious courage of love given freely, without demand. And in every dawn that followed, as the new flower bloomed brighter and brighter beneath alien suns, she remembered the human who gave her his last breath, and through that gift, taught her what it truly meant to live.